Ovaj čovjek što dolazi večeras kod mene, to je Bog na zemlji. Nasmijem se, Živina, šta te košta?
Do kada on ostaje?
Do kad treba.
Ako tata proda zemlju, kupit će nam stan u Zagrebu i možemo svi otići.
On je došao ovdje rad posao, ne gleda tebe kako se prenemažeš.
Ne gleda ga tako, izgleda kao da si zaljubljena. Navučem ovu. Onako ćeš obožeti tata kože. Dovučni, sve će biti bolje. Ako dobije pare, samo će biti gori. I've never been in love.
How could you be?
To i ti želiš. Gledala sam te s njim, vidi se. A on zaboravi na nas onaj moment kad uđe u avion. Zaslužuješ bolje.
Sad kad on ode, zatvor ću te u podrum, neš više vidjeti svjetlu dan.
Pretjeruješ ko uvijek. A što bi ti, a? Hoćeš nas sve zaključiti u kuću?
Stani! Julija! I know what's best for my daughter.
Ni mama te ne ponosi, svi te mrze! Smiri se. Otvori vrata!
Oh, very good. Okay. So so it's recording. Okay.
Adam, I'm a little bit coughing, just so you know.
Okay. Well, I'll match your cough with a cough every time.
Let's
That way
do it.
nobody will know or suspect. Excuse me.
Good.
See? I'll try to be convincing as possible.
Sounds
How
good.
you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, and grateful for Sarah Sampson's just her. I don't want to say her insistence because that will make it sound like I didn't greedily want to see your movie, Murina, but I'm glad she stayed on top of things, as is her nature, and to encourage me. I think it's a better word. Encourage me to see it. So glad I did. Yeah, I mean, you're right. We're putting that out there. Now, the film opened at what film festival?
In Cannes Film Festival.
Is that a good one?
It's okay.
Is that that's the one in France, right?
France, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. No, that's great. I mean, amazing. I'm so glad to have seen it. And we're going to just say right at the top here that it's opening in New York City Friday, the 8th, which is the day after tomorrow. What in hell are you doing talking to me? You got work to do. Where are you, by the way?
I'm in New York.
You are getting ready for your big Metrograph premiere.
Yes,
That's
I'm
a great
in
thing.
New York. Maybe you didn't know. I live here. So
Oh, okay. Right.
I'm just here in my living room.
How long have you been in New York?
15 years.
15?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
14. Not
14.
Yet.
Oh, then forget it.
Yeah.
And this is your first feature you made since you've been living in New York? Feature film?
My first feature ever.
Yeah.
New York and the world in general.
And you shot it, but it takes place, of course, in Croatia, but on the Adriatic, and that's where you shot it, right?
Yes, I went back to the origins to shoot the first one.
It's a good place to start, I think, right? But you did just want to shoot a short with the same young actor, Gracia Filipovic. Is that right?
Yeah. Very good.
Thank you. And your name, by the way, I buried the lead, is Antoneta Alamat. I don't hear you correcting me yet. Okay, here we go. Kusijanović.
Very good.
Really?
Good. You have some of this Eastern European groove there.
Yeah, I do.
You do? Where are you from?
Yeah. Well, once when Russia was it sucked back then when my people left too, actually. It sucked. It wasn't much fun, and they were after my particular people, so they left in like the end of the 19th century. So I've been in
people are your grandparents, I assume.
Great.
Your great
I think that my great grandparents came as children even. My people have been here a long time, but my folks, my tribe. But yeah. But I was thinking after you're watching Murina, which again it opens. I was going to say Metrograph on Friday, and then the following Friday in Los Angeles at the Laemmle theaters. I'm going to put it out there, Marie. I'm going to put it out there, Antoneta. We're going to let people know where they can see this film. So they go, and it's gorgeous. So it's you'll see acting underwater in this movie. It's not just people swimming underwater; they're also acting underwater. You get all sorts of tension and emotional activity going on underwater.
I would like to think that. That was my intention. It's too hard to shoot underwater, to bring camera underwater. Just
right. Yeah. You could just get some stock footage.
Yeah, exactly. Then at least do something like a dramatic scene of people coming together or breaking apart.
Right. Yeah. Well, and there's such a tradition. I was thinking my parents, they introduced me to Swept Away, which was on an island. But I think about a lot of this tradition of these movies that often take place on the sea or on the seashore, and almost the entire your film in its entirety takes place, in this what is a fishing, I guess, village.
Mm-hmm.
But what's that?
It is. It's an island. It's an island.
It's an island.
The whole coast is a fishing village.
Right. There's no other. Right. There's not much vegetation. Right. There's not much other ways of, unless you owned a resort. So that's kind of like.
Well, the truth is that the rest of the coast is very green.
Okay.
I particularly chose and kind of butchered different types of islands where there's no trees, and put them together in one location.
Oh, that's good though.
So they're 7 hours away from each other.
You must feel so powerful. You created your own island. You created your own island.
Yes, and everybody's where is that?
Exactly. It's the island of Antoneta, and it's very, very exclusive. So you have to first.
The moon surface. It's a moon surface where nothing can grow but vanity and ego.
Wow, I love it. That's fantastic. And you can only get there if you bring everyone to see this movie this weekend.
Yes, that's true. Thank you, Adam. Thank you.
You're welcome. No, I really did enjoy it. I'll start telling the story. We mentioned this young woman who is flowering. She's becoming a woman, her own person. And she's kind of, she's got a very loving mother, but her father is very oppressive, created an oppressive. At least this is what she it ends up feeling about her relationship with her father. That he's an unhappy guy, she's certainly not wrong. But it's interesting how, with this man who comes to the island who has a history with both of her parents, how you can envision somebody to be a hero and somebody to be a villain. And it's not always exactly the way you would like to think it is, right?
Are you saying you empathize with the father?
More so with Julija, who's the daughter. But yeah, well, but no, with a parent, they're never in. I rarely is a parent in a, in this some optimal situation, when it comes to their children who need to break off and become their own individual, and she feels like she's a prisoner.
Yeah, it's very interesting how certain people perceive those characters differently. There's a lot of people who see Javier as a villain, and then
Javier is right. Well, I'm sorry to interrupt because I'm going to let you get right back to it. But yes, Javier is the visitor who was once the father Ante, how do you pronounce his name?
Leon Lucer. Oh yeah, the characters.
No, the characters now. I don't care about
You
the
did
actor.
well,
He's
you did well.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Ante, or is it
Ante.
Ante? And then he was also a former lover of Julia's mother. So there's a lot of dynamics issues going on, to say the least. But yes, what I'm saying is she created Julia, the young woman. She needs somebody to rescue her, in a sense, or someone to divert her, and don't you think so? Javier becomes that person, but Javier, yeah, to me, I'm looking at him from the beginning as this is not somebody who you should trust.
Yeah, that's where the wisdom of the experience is lacking. With young youth has resilience and desire and power, but wisdom is sometimes lacking in to see beyond what you think you're seeing. Requires years of experience, but
Yeah, right.
But it is yeah, it's very interesting to me, always speaking to both men and women from different regions, is how they perceive antagonism in the film. And sometimes everybody acknowledges that there is antagonism, so that's right. But where the antagonism comes from, it really differs depending on the background.
Subjectivism.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, of course. Right. Well, that's the beauty of making a film like yours, because it's sophisticated in the sense that you're not leading people to the answer. You are allowing people to arrive at their own decision. Who are the heroes and who are the villains in this film? Or I mean, at least I should say, Julia's father is a jerk, but it's complicated. It's more complicated than that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's kind of
I agree. Almost like a lackmus paper, for the mentalities of audience. That's what I always find interesting. That's why I asked you, did you empathize with father?
No, you said I did, but I will it's a question. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I did it to some degree. Yeah, I did for sure, because I see him as just somebody who doesn't really know how to let down his guard, who feels easily inferior. He has an inferiority complex. I think he's got all sorts of issues when it comes to his vision of himself as a man and what a man's supposed to do. Maybe he just sees like he's a failure because he hasn't created wealth for his family, and all these other things, when I think both his wife and his daughter are just happy if they're in a loving environment. I mean, that's what I think. So he's missing the point. That's so I feel bad. I feel bad for him in that way.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, I understand.
And I do feel like on some level, even though he's unable to create it, he does really want to connect to his daughter. He's just unable to do it, and he's at a disadvantage because she's angry. Now she's angry. She's busting out. She wants to get the hell off that island.
True.
But, so it's I'll show the trailer at the beginning so people get a sense of that. Another thing I mentioned, Swept Away, and I mentioned maybe that's all I mentioned, but I was also thinking of The Tempest and Shakespeare. Tempest, and the relationship between the father Prospero and the daughter Miranda on that one. There's also a similar kind of dynamic. Did that ever occur to you? And it takes place on an island in the Mediterranean.
I wasn't thinking of Tempest.
I think.
I was thinking of Othello.
Othello. Oh. Okay.
I was thinking always of Desdemona and Iago and Othello.
Okay. Oh, yes. That's very true. That very good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of like a little bit of like triangle inspiration, I would say.
There is a Shakespearean kind of dynamic going on here, or something like a little bit of a structure. It's true.
I worked with that structure in the short film, and I think that there were remains of that energy then moving into the feature.
Wonderful. That's all I got.
Okay, this was easy.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to ask you things of like on a technical level, maybe filming underwater and all that stuff, but it's okay. And the symbolism and all sorts of stuff, but I'm a kind of like to take the film on a more literal level. And like, you know what I mean? Well,
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course.
and water, of course, and it's a huge symbol in many films, and so obviously one can submerge themselves in symbolism here, but I really think, like, I really enjoy the dynamic because they're all very between Julia and her mother, and mention the actress who plays the mother. She's wonderful.
Danica Ćurčić.
Dana.
Danica.
What's her name?
Danica.
Oh, Danica. Yeah, I mean, they all have, a complicated relationships, and they feel really real. So how did you end up, I mean, what were the kinds of conversations you had as a director with them?
Well, I did cast entire team depending on Grazia, the main character, Julia. She's a non-actress. So
right.
I went through a long process of building the family around her. And
Okay.
then just before the shoot, we did like all kinds of things, like from dancing tango to...
Really?
Yes. It is very important, tango, in acting, I think.
Why is that?
Because in tango, you are depending on the other person. And it's a communication. There's no rules. There are certain type of rules, but you really need to listen, anticipate, and follow. And for such a film that was very claustrophobic and very physical, and the characters are always together and under the water and bodies close to each other, I felt that this would be a good way of making them comfortable with that. But also for a non-actor who's not educated classically in being in the scene with other people, it was a great exercise to teach her to listen and to react to others. So that was one way. And then also we spent almost a month, I would say 1 month we spent on an island, and we lived all together, and they were going through all these scenes that never made it into a movie. They were kind of outside of the frame situations that were informing the dynamics of this family.
Oh, that's great. So where was this? When do you study in school? Did you study filmmaking, or did you study acting, directing?
I was studying film producing first, and then I moved to directing. And
you were a closet filmmaker, and you were too shy to admit it to yourself.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Not only shy, I was completely unaware.
It was so repressed. You were so repressed, or so it was so, I should say, suppressed in your fiber that you didn't even know it until.
Yes, because it's very strange. There's no really, now there are female directors in Croatia, but when I was growing up, there was only one.
What was her name?
Snježana Tribusov.
Yeah, she's done my show.
Really?
No.
And now I think that if you look at the list of how many female directors made movie ever in history of Croatia, I think I'm number 7.
That's just mind-boggling. Wow.
So it was not like
and you're not in the top 10.
Sorry?
And you're not in the top 10 favorite female filmmakers, which is brilliant, that hurts. No, you're number one in my book, but that's
No, but it's like, imagine, like, how would you even think of, like, at 18 or 17, oh, I'm gonna become a director? That's not in your mind.
right. Yeah. I mean, it's only in the last 30 years where film schools, even in the United States, have become so ubiquitous. But they, like 30 years ago or 35, something like that, there's only one or two. Nobody went to school for filmmaking. Nobody went to become a filmmaker. It's like you go to Hollywood and they create them there or something.
Yeah,
That's kind of how it was done. So it's not really that surprising. I mean, it seems. What's that?
No,
Do you have any sense of how many male filmmakers there are in Croatia?
I don't know.
Countless. No. Two.
I-
Neither, and none of them have been executive produced by Martin Scorsese like you have. Can't even say anything. How did that happen?
That was a great story. I just graduated from school, and day after I went to Cannes and I shook hands with Martin Scorsese and Artie Features. They said, like, we're gonna finance your next film. It was off of the letter of intention. It was really great. I didn't have a script yet. It was more like an idea of what the movie is gonna be like after they saw my short film. So yeah, that was a fun story.
It's really it's amazing. I mean, I guess he's executive producing now, like a number of films, but I've seen almost only documentaries. So yours is kind of, and it seems to be quite an exception. That's great. Did you get word from him what he thought of the film?
Yes, of course. It's even published on different
posters and promotional
exactly.
Let's see
No, it was great to work with him. He was
Sarah, what is it? Let's get a Martin Scorsese quote, because I don't have one here. Sarah's listening. She says it's time to wind down anyway, and I'm sad, but I will invite you. I would love to have you back on.
Sounds good.
And any reason at all, but any future projects, we'll make it continue. We'll make it happen again. But
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. The name of the film is called Murina. It's directed by Antoneta Alamat Kusijanović. And it opens in New York City this Friday, July 8th, at the Metrograph Theater in Lower Manhattan, and also next Friday, the 15th of July, in Los Angeles at the Laemmle Theaters. Or you'll see. Just Google it, LA. You'll find it and go see it. It's a gorgeous film, so it deserves to be seen, as most films do, but this one in particular on the screen. So if you live within anywhere near, and hopefully it'll spread further out in other cities, right? Based on its reception in New York and LA. So
I hope.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. It's really nice meeting you, Antoneta.
Thank you.